McCree has always been one of my favorite heroes. I don't know if it's biased because I happen to live in the United States, but the badass cybernetic cowboy is a really cool aesthetic. I like his attitude, I like his persona, and I've always liked the way he plays. There was a time where he was, I guess what you would call my main, one of my most played heroes. I adored him, I loved the feeling of getting better with him, but I get the sense that nowadays McCree has really taken a backseat to practically every other one of the offensive heroes. I want to talk a little bit about where McCree is at and why I personally think that he is in his current position. There are many people out there much smarter than I who have talked about McCree, his different abilities, his strengths and weaknesses in a ton of depth, and I'm going to link you guys below to what I think are some great posts around this discussion. One of the biggest things that always comes up is his ultimate, and the fact that a lot of people don't really think it's that great. It's used more for zoning most of the time than it is for actually securing kills. It can be easily avoided and countered, and it's kind of counter to his moment-to-moment playstyle. McCree's a hero who's about sticking with your team and popping out to get some surprise shots on people. Generally, he doesn't want to be out in the wide open because he's not very mobile and he doesn't have much for self-survivability, for self-sustain. So he's hiding behind a shield, he's poking around corners, but his ultimate is entirely premised around standing in the wide open for everyone to see you. So it's kind of strange counter to how he's technically played. And then people have also brought up the fact that his hitbox size is huge. It's like the largest of all the attacking heroes, making him a very easy target to hit. And all of these are serious issues, and these are things that Blizzard maybe should be addressing. But this stuff aside, in my opinion, I think one of the biggest issues, I guess, that we could say that McCree has is he is just one of the hardest offensive heroes to play. And I'm talking about in two forms. One is in his ability to deal damage, and two is in his ability to survive. So in terms of accuracy and aim, if you look at all of the other heroes, Genji, Pharah, Reaper, Soldier, Sombra, and Tracer, all of them require less precision than McCree does. McCree has a very few rounds before having to reload, so that requires pinpoint accuracy whenever you shoot, because each one of your shots has that much more weight behind it. It's much more important if you're only firing 6 shots before you have to reload than if you have 20 plus available that each shot hits. Whereas someone like Genji, even Pharah, Reaper, Soldier, Sombra, and Tracer especially, these heroes, if you slightly miss a shot, you can correct course and still hit those follow-up rounds because you fire rounds very quickly and you've got so many of them. I guess Pharah's an exception to that when looking at this list, but even Pharah, she's got some splash damage. So there's the aim side of things. McCree is one of the higher skill ceilings when it comes to aim, similar to someone like a Hanzo or a Widowmaker. But then there's the survivability. McCree's got a combat roll, which it moves you about a foot, and he's got the flashbang, but that's only effective in close range. What do these other heroes have for survivability? Genji's got a double jump, a dash, can wall climb, and a deflect. Pharah's got the fact that she spends most of the time far away from the enemy team. She can quickly move herself with concussive blast if near other objects, and then she's got her jump jet. Reaper has got his wraith form, and he can use his E for repositioning. Soldier has got his sprint and his heal. Sombra has got her translocator and the fact that she can be invisible, and Tracer of course has blink and recall. These are all, I guess, ways to kind of make up for maybe not being the best player and not always having the best position. You've got ways to reposition yourself, to make yourself invisible, to rewind back in time, to deflect damage, like all sorts of ways to avoid damage. McCree requires, if you're not just gonna be dying and be a huge drag to your team, he requires you to be almost perfect with your positioning, and while at the same time also having to have almost perfect aiming to be of use. Couple that with arguably one of the worst ults in the game, as a lot of people have said that might be the case. It's no question why McCree is now just really, he's like MIA. It's like, where's McCree been? With the exception of me playing him sometimes nowadays, I rarely see other people on my team or the enemy team playing McCree at all. And I'm talking about casual and competitive. Quick play, competitive, wherever. I'm not seeing personally a lot of McCrees. I'd love to know about you guys in your games though. It just makes sense. He's a tough hero to play. He requires really good aim, and he's got one of the worst survivabilities compared to the other offensive heroes. So it makes a lot of sense. It was one thing when McCree was hands down one of the best damage dealers at the game for close, medium, and sometimes even long range. But once he got toned down down and other heroes started to bump up, you roll that into his ultimate not being great and all of the other drawbacks to McCree, unless you're at the highest level of play, it's no surprise that he's kind of just lost his place. He's lost his role. He is still one of the best anti-flankers in the game, so he's good for filling that position, but beyond that, most of the time, the other offense heroes will be a better choice. We could talk about all sorts of possible changes. You know, I do think McCree could use some tuning. There's some things maybe we could change about his ultimate and the way his ultimate charge is effective. I've seen the suggestion that they could let you combat roll while you're casting your ultimate. I think that's a fantastic idea, actually, and that'd be a nice little boost for McCree. We're never going to get perfect balance. It's never going to be the case that all of the offensive heroes are played an equal percentage of time, but I do feel like McCree could use a little bit of lovin' given how hard he is to play. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for me here today. As always, I want to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the comment section below. Hope you have a good one, and until next time, I'll see you later.